Hello, everyone, and welcome to our October Microsoft Global Community Initiative session in October. I'm your host today. My name is Tiffany Lee. I'm a Microsoft Product Manager. So let's get into the content today. So first, this is our first annual session where we're going to be hosting it live streaming via YouTube and, of course, the Microsoft Tech community. For any sort of call, we have hybrid, in-person, digital. We have an event code of conduct. I'm not going to go over this slide, but essentially be kind, be welcoming, and helping create a good and safe environment for everyone here. Next slide, please. So this is our agenda for today. We have a couple announcements. We have our lovely subcommittee members, and they're going to come over and bring over their updates from both training, communications, as well as our events and technical and toolings. Today's topic, we have a very cool special guest today. We have Perla Ramirez, and she's going to talk about coaching first-time speakers. And then we have a couple slides on community events and updates. And we do have a very fun-filled upcoming rest of the year where we have lots and lots of events that we'll talk about. And then, of course, we have our open discussion forum. Alrighty, next I'm going to bring my co-host on, Heather, who will talk about our updated call format.
Hello, Tiffany. How are you? Yay.
Good. I'm excited we're both here.
I know. It's awesome. And giving a shout out to Tiffany with this new format, who you've been running this wonderful event for like the last, I don't know, year and a half or so.
Yeah, 2 years almost.
Yeah, 2 years, like doing a great job. And so very excited to bring it to YouTube live streaming. And so it's fun to go live, and which we found out this morning, which we did some learnings this morning, which was very cool.
Oh, and so sure. Now we're both unmuted and everything works.
Yeah. So it's all good. So thank you so much for that, Tiffany, and bringing in all of our wonderful guests. And yeah, so we had been talking about, working on expanding the Microsoft Global Community Initiative. And if you haven't, you're like, what is this thing? Why am I here? What's MGCI? So we do have an AKA link that you can go to, aka.ms/MGCI for Global Community Initiative right there. Yep. And what this is it started during COVID, actually, and it was in response to folks, we all went from physical to virtual and hybrid and all of that. And so we wanted to help support our wonderful community event producers, and those of you who are out there budding event producers who are like, I would love to do this too. And so we'll talk a little bit about community days here in a moment, but we thought this format, and if you want to put the format slide up. So what we're doing is we're moving to this wonderful YouTube channel. We're doing an AM and a PM, also hopefully reaching more people, right? So maybe a little bit more inclusive and accessible to a worldwide audience. Everything will be on demand. We're working on a place to put slides up on our beautiful adoption.microsoft.com MGCI site. That will be coming soon. So join us here streaming live for the next call coming up in November as well. So another streaming live fun video or show, I should say, is the Mondays at Microsoft I get to do with Caruana Gatimu. That's every other Monday. So we will have one next Monday. We do about a half hour on what's new. We started this because we couldn't keep up. We were like, what is all this stuff going on here at Microsoft? And if we couldn't keep up, how could you all keep up? So we put together kind of what's hot, what's new, what's going on in product, what's coming up in events, just in looking for really fun articles about, what's going on in the AI and Copilot and regular core product space as well. So check it out and join us for Mondays at Microsoft. Next slide, please. And then we have board members and regional leaders who head up our subcommittees. And we have a couple of subcommittees in MGCI. One is about communications. The other is about tech and tools. And then lastly, we have event training. And so I want to bring up one of our awesome board members, Jennifer, to give us our communications update. Hey, Jennifer, how are you? Where are you in the world right now?
I'm in St. Pete, Florida, thankfully with power and internet now. So it's been a fun couple of weeks. So excited to be here with everybody. Glad you guys could join us.
Goodness. Go right ahead.
Look forward to the updates. So just a couple of updates that we have. We are working on the October newsletter, so that should be in your inbox in the next couple of weeks. We know everybody looks forward to that, so super excited about that. We also have the Microsoft Field Playbook. We put together a playbook of ways that you as an event producer or event organizer could work with Microsoft locally, different ways you could find out who is local, different roles that are local, different things like that. So we started with the North America playbook simply because that was the information we had the most access to, but hopefully we can take that international and do some other playbooks as we're going along. But that should be launching here. We're in the final stages of review. And then finally, one person on our team, Sharon, is working on getting some graphics and some media materials that people can be using if they're going to be posting continually, if they want to post about MGCI, if they want to post about events, kind of like a starter kit. So we've been working on that and some guideline creations, and just some things to help you as you're trying to do those things, and then some things you can do to promote the MGCI as well. So those are things that we're working on, and the committee meets every Wednesday to discuss different things and catch up on tasks. So if you have any ideas for anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. And those are my updates, Heather.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Jennifer. So appreciative of you and Isadora and Sharon, and who've been working on this with us for a long time. So thank you for that. That playbook is very close to being able to be launched. Very close. I'm like, come on. So we'll get there. But yeah, no, very exciting to have that. And the social media kit too. I think that's going to be awesome. So coming soon. So we'll let you go for the evening since it's later in your day there. And I'm really glad everything's good with you all over there in Florida for sure. So yeah, awesome. Big goodness. So thank you, Jennifer. Awesome. Later, Skater. Okay, so next we have a Community Days Tech and Tools update with Tom Daly, who it's also late in his day as well. The Community Days, just a quick history lesson there with this beautiful website that Tom created back during COVID. SPSevents.org had decided to close their doors. Susan and Eric had run that for a very long time, and that was the place where all the SharePoint Saturdays were being housed as far as the events go. And so Tom was like, we can't let this go away, and so he created this wonderful site, communitydays.org, and we got to talk in, and so it's really run by the community and then supported by Microsoft because it's on Microsoft infrastructure. So Tom works on this all the time, volunteer with a bunch of other wonderful folks who help test and QC. And bring Tom up if we can, Aaron. And I was like talking about Tom. I'm like, hi, Tom, where are you? And just it's super awesome. It's all the Microsoft community events in the ecosystem. We encourage people to list their events. It's free. And you can find events. You can look for calls for content, calls for sponsors. And, Tom, you're just a legend. So
thank you.
Yeah,
it was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. It was for a good cause. We couldn't let that, we couldn't let everything fall apart. Yeah,
for sure. So sometimes you just bring it together, right? That's what community is all about. So thank you for that. And also, you have updates for us about what's going on the site. So if you haven't been there and you're hanging out and watching this, you can listen to Tom and listen to the updates, but maybe go to communitydays.org. If you haven't, check that out while you're listening to us here, and you can see what Tom's talking about. So Tom, go ahead with your updates. Awesome.
Sure. All right. So we've been busy. As Heather said, we've started on this, I actually started pre-COVID. It was something that, it was pre-COVID, but COVID sort of helped everybody find events with this site. Because, if you try to host your own website, it's just impossible to get traffic. So we were trying to build a community. So we've been working on this for a long time, but these are our monthly updates that are currently in our, our build pipeline. Right now, what's rolling out, going live to the site is the integration with run events and merging of profiles. So our system supports run events and sessionize. Those are both call for content, event management types of platforms. So we integrate that, and we have a fun little thing called the speaker board where it sort of ranks and shows you. It's not really there's a point system, but it's really to showcase these people that you may not have heard of because they don't speak at major conferences, or they're doing a lot of travel on their own dime for free to these different events. So we're giving them a place, shining a light on them. So now we are rolling those run events together with the sessionize, creating one profile so that you can see the full picture of what these people are doing in the community. Next up, bunch of little bug fixes that we do get a lot of feedback from our event organizers, and we listen to everything that they say. I read everything that comes in on the website, and I try to answer everybody if they leave their emails. So some of these things were, we found out that run events, some of the issues with run events there, we were having a problem filtering speakers. So we fixed that. With the sponsors, we released a sponsor update a little while ago where you can apply through the website. So the space, if you had an extra, like a line break, that was not appearing correctly. So we fixed that. Another thing with searching for speakers, if there was a second or third speaker, you wasn't pulling them up properly. So again, we fixed that. Run events missing service sessions. That's another big thing. So service sessions are like breakfast, registration, lunch, right? Things that you want on the schedule. So we add those, sessionize. We do service sessions for sessionize. So we just added in the service sessions for run events as well. Lastly, because we're now tightly integrated with run events, and we're encouraging people to use either one to use our platform, we are now putting their logo on our site because we are in contact with them on APIs and things like that, and they're a great group of people to work with. So what are we working on now? These are actually, a lot of these are rolling out because we move a little quickly sometimes. So slow event. So when you're creating your event, there was a little bit of extra stuff going on in the background, checking for unique events. So, and also revalidating. So I fixed that. So that's not an issue anymore. Forced usernames. Our authentication allows you to have a Skype, anything that's like a Microsoft Live. So basically a phone number. Right. So if people log in with these other systems, Xbox Live account, phone number, Skype phone number, we're forcing them to tell us who they are, like email, name. So we're ensuring that we know who people are that are logging in. Also, we need this information for our system, later on, if they're going to be an event organizer. Schedule missing information. So our upcoming low code, no code on November event had an issue with their schedule missing some of the second page. So we fixed that. That's rolling out like probably tomorrow. September style update. I tweak things all the time. I can't, I'm always looking at things that are just not lined up or not the right font. And I'm just constantly rolling those things out. So there's always a monthly CSS style update. The new thing that we've been working on is so right now, if you go to the site, www.communitydays.org, and you look at the events page, you'll see what I call the card listing. So that shows you all the events as cards. We're adding right now it's done and is being reviewed and tested. We're adding the ability to see the events as a list and then see them as a calendar. These are 2 requests that we heard time and time again, to be able to look at the list differently. So we're adding that, and that should be coming out within the next couple weeks. Lastly, in this column, the changing time zone on calendar. So Ryan Scouten, who's one of the other MVPs / developer helper, he's been helping me on some of these new features. This is the one that he's working on, the changing of the time zone. So we know that people that are flying into events, they're seeing the calendar events in the time zone of the event. And for those people, they might want to see it in their time zone. If it's a virtual event, they might want to see the calendar in their time zone and not the event's time zone. So we're going to give them the option to flick back and forth. And lastly, since we did so much in October, we really need to go back and prioritize and restructure. We have everything on our Azure DevOps board, all the new features that we want to do. We just need to kind of start, I guess, working those things out. How are we going to do them? Does it make sense? Because like a lot of the times we prioritize and then things change and things shift. So we're going to be doing some cleanup and, planning the next batch. By the next meeting, we'll have a whole bunch of things probably in the working on it column. But that's it. So if you're interested, we're always looking for helpers to volunteer QA. Sign up for the MCGI. Let's say it too fast. MGCI. I always mess it up. MGCI, and we will. We sign up for one of these subcommittees and help out with volunteering with the site. You're on mute.
I was on mute because people were outside this window over here. But yeah, there's a link to sign up for a form if you want to help. And yeah, and it's thank you everybody who has been doing that. I know that we all have a million things going on in our lives, so appreciate everybody leaning in on that. So that's the link that you can check out there. MGCI. I know I do it too sometimes, Tom. And then CDO stands for communitydays.org. Tech
Right.
sign up. So there you go. So appreciate it. Yeah, I'm really excited. A big shout out to Run Events, to Addis and Mustafa and Spence over there in Europe. Just they're terrific. And, this app is really great. If you haven't seen Run, it's run.events. You can check that out. It is an event app for doing calls for content and managing events and that sort of thing. It's really cool. And so being able to pull in the background from that and bring in speakers and sessions and all of that into the speaker board is really cool. So just a big thank you to all of them for working with us on that. That was really awesome. So yeah. Tom Daly, again, you're a legend.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything you do. All right, cool.
Wow.
Awesome. Bye. So I think, do we have our speaker up next? I think that's the next thing we have on the agenda. Erin, do you want to bring back Tiffany so she can do some intros and we can get the awesome Perla rocking out? What's up? Yeah?
Oh,
Cool.
well, thank you for bringing Tom and Jennifer and all the amazing stuff that you and all these other subcommittee members and board members do. So again, super excited to hear from them and hear from the website updates that we have going on all the time to make communitydays.org better. So,
Cool.
MGCI. All right. Well, without further ado, I'm going to bring on Perla Ramirez. She actually met me in the M365 conference in Florida, and she sought me out from our crowd. She just has the most best enthusiasm and good energy, and which is why she's perfect. And eventually, became a regional leader for our Microsoft Global Community Initiatives. She has a really, really great talk track today about coaching first-time speakers and what to do if you're a first-time speaker. And so I'm going to bring her on and have her introduce herself. Go on, Perla.
Off mute. Yay. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me on, or we'd like to say in Spanish, bienvenidos y buenas noches, or buenas tardes to everyone. Welcome. I'm very excited to be here today. I'm going to be talking a little bit about first-time speakers and how we can make those things for us a better experience. And I'm very excited to be part of today's conversation. So today we're going to explore how we can support and encourage first-time speakers in our Microsoft Global community. I'll be sharing some tips and strategies to help mentor these new voices and ensure that they are delivering impactful sessions at community events. So let's dive in. Let's get into the next slide. So we wanted to start this kind of discussion on the main types of speakers that you're going to be seeing at your events. Each type of speaker faces their own unique challenge, whether they're moving from virtual to in-person to virtual, managing both, or like some of us, complete beginners. Our role is to provide tailored guidance, helping them navigate these challenges with confidence, to help them practice, to provide mentorship and feedback, which is key to their success. So just going to share a quick story about my own experience. I started doing events for my own organization, moved up from small events to where there were maybe 25 people on a call to, by the time I left the organization, close to 800 speakers, 800 viewers. So it was still very much a virtual only. This year, for the first time, 5 years later, finally got to transition to an in-person speaking event. So for me, that was a big transition. And I was very happy to be able to have not only mentors, but an ability to be able to do it with others. So it was like, for me, a first time panel speaking invitation. And that really eased me into doing a virtual to in-person event. So let's talk a little bit about the kind of challenges that each of these type of speakers are going to face, and how you as an event organizer can help manage those. So virtual only speaker transitioning to in-person. Some of the challenges these people may face, maybe they're used to the safety net of speaking behind a screen. So speaking in front of a live audience, it can feel intimidating. So an approach there, like I had previously mentioned, is to get them to encourage to practice in front of small audiences, get them used to nonverbal cues, body language, and doing live interactions, and remind them that in-person energy can really enhance delivery. The second type that you'll experience would be an in-person transitioning to virtual. So the challenges here is that they may struggle to convey that energy where they can't see the audience. But an approach to that could be help them understand how virtual tools like polling or chats can really help them engage their audience as well, and how to maintain energy even without live reactions. So then we move over to hybrid speakers. So a hybrid speaker is a person who's doing both doing both virtual and in-person speaking for the first time. I would say this one is the hardest one to manage. Out of all four, this one really is the hardest to manage, because you have to manage balancing the dynamic between virtual and live audience, and that is really tricky. So if you can, I would really not give this to a person who's doing the first time speaking, because it is harder. So an approach to this would be to focus on camera presence for virtual participants while interacting with the live audience. And somebody should really practice managing the technology smoothly. So making sure that you're looking for someone, if you have to do this, make sure that they're really well-versed in managing technology for a seamless experience. And then finally, where all of us started, and we all know and have had experienced this before, first time speaking with no experience. And the challenge here is, we all know everything is new. They may face anxiety about content, about audience reaction, technical glitches, just general anxiety, because we all know that speaking in person is an anxiety-driven event. So how do you approach this? You approach this with providing extra guidance on basics like structuring content, engaging and preparing for that audience Q&A, and really more mentorship and rehearsal time can be the critical difference for a successful delivery. Next slide. Let's discuss why first-time speakers matter. We matter. Well, first-time speakers bring fresh perspectives and diversity to speaker lineups. While they may need a little extra support, the benefits are immense. New voices break the cycle of repeated ideas, and they bring innovation. They encourage them to encouraging these types of people really ensures that our community continues to grow and evolve. Somebody gave me a chance when I first started, and I remember specifically asking for guidance, and people kept encouraging me. And I think that's, again, part of why I gravitated to community, because really it's us that help us build up our confidence in order to be able to get where we want to go. So I, again, encourage you all to kind of seek out those first-time speakers. Next slide. So it's important to actively seek out first-time speakers to create a more inclusive event by, again, promoting diversity of thought and bringing in people from various backgrounds. We can enrich the community. So this can start with the simple steps like adding a question to a speaker intake form. Is this your first time speaking? And then offering the necessary support. So again, if you want to just be a little bit more proactive, make sure that your event is marketed to first-time speakers. So this would be a good opportunity for you to be able to, as an event planner, to maybe make those panel sessions available, build a panel session specifically for first-time speakers, and actively seek them out. Next slide, please. So again, like I was saying, panel speakers are a great way to ease first-time speakers into speaking, either live or virtual, as they share responsibility with others. I did this year, and I will tell you that this was a great opportunity for me to get into being on stage with a room full of people and feeling at ease because I was sharing stage with somebody else. But it's equally important to pair them with somebody who's going to work with them. So a mentor offers that guidance to help them with slide preparation, timing, and practicing to make the process less overwhelming. So yeah, next slide. So proactive communication. So for me, this was really key, right? So effective communication, I think, is really critical when working with first-time speakers. They're already really nervous about what could happen, about what's next. So making sure that you set those clear deadlines, rehearsing again, and using collaboration tools like Teams to organize everything. If you're using a team, make sure you're adding things like a planner or maybe Loop to help keep you all in the loop of things, to say the least, right? Using those tools that are available in Teams to help you really organize the run of show, and making sure that those first-time speakers are aware that they're going to be added to those environments and when they should expect those invitations, so they're feeling less stressful and everyone is included in that real-time collaboration. So setting, again, those expectations of early to ensure that everyone knows how and when to participate is really critical. Rehearsal. Let's talk about why rehearsals are very invaluable for first-time speakers. They help speakers adjust to their presentation time for clarity and flow, and offering early feedback is key. It really helps build confidence, and it helps fine-tune delivering so they feel like they're prepared for that big day. So on the screen, we dropped a little AKA. So PowerPoint does this really well, and I just can't tell you how much I appreciate the technology of Rehearse with Coach. It helps check people for those pauses. It tells you maybe you're speaking too fast, which is important if you have a global audience. You may want to slow it down a bit so that we have the ability to be able to keep up if it's being presented in a language outside of maybe that person's first language. And it also helps to check for diverse and inclusive language so that we're using, language that's not hurtful to other people. So again, rehearsal with Coach is important. Guidance. So let's just talk a little bit about guidance and audience engagement. Engaging your audience is vital for successful presentation. I think the polling that is available in PowerPoint or in Teams, a first-time speaker should really be encouraged to use these tools, storytelling, to keep the audience engaged and involved, and then remind them to breathe and to stay conversational, to ease the nerves. So it's important to have that kind of guiding you to make sure that you're really able to connect with the audience. So on the next slide, so we're going to talk a little bit about slide design and support. Today's slides, I presented those. I created my slides today with, again, a tool that is available in PowerPoint, which is the Create Your Design Slide Layout. So first-time speakers often struggle with creating slides, and you can, of course, provide them with templates and design tips to ensure everyone stays, mutually exclusive to what the event is targeted to. But sometimes events don't have that. So if you are one of those events that don't have a template, you can encourage your people to use that create layout in PowerPoint to create those really nice slides that are visually clear and they're engaging with limited text, and you're using visuals to keep your design aligned with event branding. So storytelling. I think this is one of the most powerful tools a speaker could use to encourage storytelling, whether it's personal or industry experience. It helps you really structure your talk, and it makes it really memorable for the audience on a deeper level. So storytelling is really key for your first-time speakers to help integrate a personal or industry story. And lastly, and for me personally, this was one of the things that kind of caught me up this year, was that I didn't have access to my E5 demo environment. Microsoft made a couple of changes, and now in order to get access to that, I needed to ask for support. So making sure that if you are coaching or you do have a first-time speaker, that you may have access to an E5 demo environment that you can provide to that person. Making sure that you have those shared resources that can't be to the disposal of some first-time speakers who may not have it. So just making sure that you're offering those shared resources either as links in the Teams groups or just reaching out to all of your speakers and asking if they need access to these kind of supporting features for first-time speakers. And with that, that's a wrap. And I hope that these tips have given you things to help you feel more equipped to mentor first-time speakers. Supporting new voices really helps us build a more dynamic and inclusive community. And I'm happy to take any questions or share additional insights, but I would love to toss it over to Heather to wrap us up. You're on mute again.
I got so excited. I was like, yay. Oh, yeah. So hi. Anyway, that was awesome. And again, for the second time, it was awesome for the second time. So yeah, I think we talked a little bit before. Yeah, I just, I think so many kernels of goodness in there about rehearsing and, I rehearse. I was saying earlier, I'm getting ready for the AI tour and some other things and doing new material, and I rehearse, y'all. I mean, I do. And, I love a live show. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm like, woo, this is awesome. And we have scripts. We do work on things ahead of time. And I believe heartily in using PowerPoint. I think it's so awesome that you created the PowerPoint deck like you did. Like, how cool is that? Right?
Yeah. And I love how easy it was too, because it gives you ideas and it says, okay, maybe I don't need all these things on this slide. And yeah, so engaging with that as minimal as you can and letting your voice kind of be that guide is important, especially for first-time speakers. You're confident, be confident in what you're presenting.
Yeah. What was your first session ever that you gave it? Like you'd stick a pin in it.
Yeah. I think the highlight of all the first session I did was a group of like 25 people, and we were introducing Teams for the first time.
Oh, cool.
Right when Teams was announced back in 2019. And
wow.
I had remember watching Caruana give this presentation about Teams and how it was going to be just transformational, and took that and just all that energy and gave these 25 people this presentation. And by the time they were done, they were like, do you work for Microsoft? I'm like, no, I'm just really excited about presenting Microsoft Teams. And it was just that. And it was just kind of that feeling of, I felt it. I really owned it. I wanted to be good at it. And I did all of that studying to make sure that I was giving a really good presentation and doing justice by what they had asked me to present to them. So, yeah. So I remember it like it was the back of my mind.
That's awesome. Yeah. I did a SharePoint Saturday, Utah in like 2017 or 2007. I don't remember, but what it was, and that's like 10 years apart. But that was one of my first SharePoint Saturdays, which was super fun. And I did a session on end user adoption that I remember really working hard to make sure I had all the things in it for sure. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, I'd been doing lots of Microsoft internal presentations, but that was a big community one for me. So yeah.
Was that your first really
cool. Let's see. Do we have any questions?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was kind of first one in the community space, out in front of a bunch of other people. So yeah, so that was pretty cool. And 2 years ago at Power Platform Conference, being on a stage of like 6,000, and the year before 4,000, those were pretty major. Like I was like, okay, here we go, right. Doing some, yeah. So
me go hide behind the chair. I'm not here.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sherry said, this is a good reminder to organizers to add that custom question for our call for speakers. Are you a first timer? I think that's great too. Maybe that's something we need to put into the community days as a reminder, to shout people out, but also I don't know, I think you see this, Perla, too. Is it like having events where organizers, have a couple of sessions that are for first-time speakers specifically, right?
Yeah.
I think having that is really important. I don't know. It's good.
Yeah, it was important to me because I knew that I would be able to put myself forward, right? To feel like this was a place where it was safe for me to be able to say, hey, maybe I could target this specific thing and they're looking for X specific thing. So I think for organizers too, is to be mindful of that, make it part of the process, and then make sure that you're connecting with them right away and saying, hey, you're going to need to do these things, and do you have what you need in order to be able to present? Because for me, the thing was, I no longer had the use of that demo environment, and I can't show my work one because
Right.
I don't want to show the work one. You need the demo, and those things are really big. And so bring us aboard. We're a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Any other questions? Source, let's see.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't. Yeah. Forced MFA. Okay. I would love to hear what the community has to say about that. We tackled this earlier, right? I don't have the answer for that. What I would love how others are maybe handling. Would love to know how others are handling that now that we have the MFA and we can't share demo environments.
Yeah.
I
feel like that's a blog post that probably needs to happen from us actually too, right? And maybe leaning into the MGCI community and saying, how are people handling, right? And seeing what if there's consensus, and also what the good advice is. So we'll how about we loop back around on that one and put that out.
We'll loop on that. All right.
We'll loop on that one. Yeah.
Gotta do the loop. Have
Yep,
to plug my loop.
Yeah, awesome. So any other questions? No? If not, we'll finish out with what's going on in events and say, Perla, you're amazing. You're a legend. Yay. That was awesome. So important. Thank you so much. This was great. Two-time too. So yeah. Awesome. Yes. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Perla. And if there's any other questions, you can put them in the chat on the MTC as well about this subject. And we'll be getting more materials out about it for sure. So let's get into our next sections. We've got lots of community events coming up in October. It is a busy month, everybody. And let's see, we've got community-led means it's a free event or a minimal cost event. These are all on communitydays.org. I know that I believe there's one that's missing on the bottom here. That is the Community Days Mexico City, which is on the 31st on Halloween. But as you can see, there's all kinds of stuff. Shout out to everybody in South Africa, all of our community members there. I know that they're doing Cape Town, Johannesburg, and Durban, all in the next bit. As a little bit of a trifecta over there. So shout out to Tracy and Alistair and Nicholas and all the friends out there. Got Collab Days New England coming up. That's going to be an awesome event. Julie and the Sympraxis team and all of those folks out there, Chris Portlick, all of that. The AI Community Conference, that is a tour, y'all, that's going on that Manpreet Singh and a bunch of other folks, Tom's involved with it too. That's happening in cities near you. That's a conference that's being put on by the community. So it's an AI community conference, which is really cool. So keep an eye out for that. They're doing multiple cities. Just like Microsoft, one of our flagships is the AI tour. That's happening. There's community conference happening at the same time, which is pretty cool. So lots of coverage on many cities. I know we've got community days over in Montreal coming up, Iowa Code Camp. So lots and lots of events, free events. Most of these events are in person. It is notated on communitydays.org if it's a virtual or a hybrid event, but most of these are in person. You can check that on communitydays.org, like we were saying. Let's flip into the community-produced events. Community-produced events, those are ones where there is a registration fee to attend. Community Summit's coming up this week. Scottish Summit Summit, very popular event with a lot of Power Platform action happening tomorrow, kicking off JavaScript Bangkok. Got tons of stuff. Tunisia, we've got Dev Days in Belgium, TechCon 365 Dallas coming up in November. A bunch of folks from my team will be there. Mark Cashman is keynoting, and I know Josh Leparati is going to be there as well from our team. So lots and lots going on coming up in October and November, and you can check all of that out on communitydays.org. Next slide. What's next? We've got, you can share your feedback. We love hearing from you about these calls. Do you like the new format? You can put that in the MTC chat as well. But this is an official survey if you like. Please come join MGCI. Go check out all the information there about what's going on. And also the Microsoft Tech community, where we're hosting this call aside from YouTube as well as on the MTC there. Next month on November 12th, we'll have Mike Madriani, who will talk about Community Days Ottawa coming up, lessons learned, which will be great. So that's another event producer talking to all of you about what they learned from doing their Community Days event, which will be awesome. Next slide. And I think, Ignite is coming up, aka.ms/Ignite. It is in Chicago, Illinois, in the United States. One of my hometowns. I love going there and eating the pizza. Chicago in person is sold out, but everybody can register to join virtually online. Lots and lots of keynotes, lots and lots of announcements. Big news usually coming out of our flagship shows like Microsoft Ignite. Next slide, please. And staying connected, all of those links that we've been talking about. We have a LinkedIn page called the Microsoft Community LinkedIn page, where you can see all kinds of fun updates, the communitydays.org site like we were talking about, and the Microsoft Tech community. So you can check all those things out. Next slide, I think, is the feedback one, and there's a QR code and then a feedback form and all of that goodness. So anyway, let's bring everybody back up. Erin, do your magic, if you will. So, yeah, marvelous. We've had a few folks run along, but definitely wanted to give some jazz hands and thank yous and big goodness and all of that. Really appreciate everybody coming on and giving updates. This is our general session. This is what this is, where we talk about what's going on in the initiative. We have a wonderful speaker come on and talk to us about event production and, first-time speakers or lessons learned and that sort of thing. And that's what this will be going forward. We always do an AM and a PM, an 8 a.m. Pacific time and a 5 p.m. Pacific time to try and catch as many time zones. So please join us for our next one. Let us know if you like the format, the change from going to Teams to this. And Perla, again, you're a legend. Tom, you're a legend too. So legends abound, which is awesome. And Tiffany, I appreciate your legendary putting together of these as well. So high five, my co-host. And that's it. Everybody have a great rest of your night and day, wherever you are in the world. So cool.
Thank you. Amazing job, Heather, as always.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Perla. Thank you, Tom.
Bye. Thank you, Erin.